After a frosty start, it was a picture-perfect autumn day across Arkansas today. We've got a few mid and high-level clouds moving through parts of the state. That's not going to ruin the evening, though. And we also have another frontal system that's on the way. This one coming in from the Pacific Northwest. Not really going to have a big impact on our forecast over the weekend, but there is a much stronger front coming down from the Arctic. That definitely will. Your forecast for us for Little Rock, we're looking for just some areas of high clouds as we head through the evening hours. By tomorrow morning, we'll be clear, starting at a frosty 38 degrees. KARK4 News at 6 starts now.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters, this is KARK4 News at 6.
The internet just makes people braver. It allows people to say things that they would not normally say in normal circumstances.
Tonight, exploring the dark side of social media. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock, everybody. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Ketz. A social media site, the focus of sharp criticism after police say it was used by two students to anonymously post violent threats against an entire school in Russellville.
New tonight at 6 o'clock, KARK4's Josh Berry asks if you have ever heard about this particular site. And it turns, well, the question is more often than not, Josh, no.
Yeah, that's right, Bob, because as we've found, not many people have, but police and school officials say it's become increasingly popular amongst the teenage generation, and while you may never have heard of it, your child probably has.
Thursday, we asked around.
Never heard of it.
Not many people know what Ask.fm is.
I haven't heard of it.
In fact, one of the only people who told us they knew from Russellville, where police say two female juveniles used the site to make violent threats towards students.
It was nerve-wracking.
Teresa Wilkins is all too familiar with Ask.fm.
Being that my daughter-in-law is a teacher in the school district.
Members of the Latvian-based social network site interact by inviting others to ask anonymous questions, but some say the site seems to have a dark side. But is it the site's fault?
Some students and kids take these apps to the extreme.
The internet just makes people braver. It allows people to say things that they would not normally say in normal circumstances.
The threats towards students at the Russellville Middle School were made anonymously, but law enforcement tracked them down using the help of Latvian State PD.
I'm just glad that the police did their job and were able to get the girls.
Officials of the Russellville School District and local law enforcement just hope parents can keep pace with their children as they likely move from Ask.fm to whatever the next popular site may be.
The school district told me from the beginning this is the first time they've encountered anything like this, but they do know it's prevalent across the nation.
And Josh, I want to ask you this. I know kids, post a lot on Facebook, but what is it they're trying to get out of this? And I mean, it seems so open-ended.
It is, and that's what kids are doing on Ask.fm. They get on there. Sometimes they just want to start a conversation with peers, but oftentimes we're told that they sometimes get on there hoping for positive feedback, but it doesn't often play out that way. But as you heard in the story, kids do often take this to the extreme. They take advantage of these sites, but I am told that the site is moving in the positive direction. They've made there to be an ability to report bullying and block anonymous users.
And I think, too, kids need to be taught, even at a young age that, things that other kids say on the playground and on the internet needs to be taken with a grain of salt.
Right, and it's coming down to the parents keeping an eye on your kids, letting them know, knowing who they're talking to.
We hear it all the time, but another good reminder. Thanks,
right,
Josh.
Josh, thanks very much. Well, the former #2 for security at the Arkansas State Lottery heading to prison. Ramel Muzik, I believe his name is, admitted to stealing thousands of lottery tickets over a 3-year stretch. KARK4's David Goins with more on the ripple effect of that inside job. David?
That's right, Bob. The judge called Ramel Muzik's action a severe breach of public trust and gave him 37 months in prison, just over 3 years total. He also faces a $482,000 tab he'll have to pay back to the state lottery. Now, Muzik told the judge he was sorry today and he has a gambling addiction. He apologized to the lottery and his family in court, but said nothing today when I asked him about how he feels about Arkansas students. And that's really the rub here for the lottery. Director Bishop Woosley says the lottery has suffered over the last year since this internal fraud came to light, and that ultimately hurts beneficiaries of lotto proceeds, that being Arkansas college students.
So I have no doubt that to some extent it's impacted the public's confidence in our organization and the public's confidence in our games.
Woosley adding that security weakness that allowed Muzik to pull off his scheme has since been addressed. The judge gave Muzik 2 months to report to federal prison. Back to you.
Thanks, David. New tonight, a convicted felon arrested today on the campus of a Little Rock school. Little Rock police say Zafria Watts was arrested at Pulaski Heights Middle School this morning after a security officer there at the school became suspicious. Police were called out and peacefully escorted Watts off the campus. Watts admitted to having a .40 caliber pistol on him. Watts is wanted on several warrants and is expected to be in federal court on Friday.
Now to a KRK4 News update for you. North Little Rock police releasing the identities of 3 people killed in a deadly collision on Valentine Road. We brought you this last night at 10 o'clock. Police say Carmisha Womack and Kenwan Martin were killed when a car driven by Nina Myers swerved into their lane, hitting them head-on. Myers also killed in the collision. A passenger, Kathleen Gooden, in the backseat of Womack's car survived. No word yet on what caused Myers to swerve into the other lane.
Well, a North Little Rock pain doctor accused of sexually assaulting a patient enters a not guilty plea in court. 60-year-old Butch Garlapati was arrested on Wednesday after a 9-month investigation by North Little Rock police. A criminal affidavit obtained by KRK shows a female victim accuses the pain doctor of pushing against her breast and brushing his genitals against her hands. This all happened at the doctor's office on Smoky Lane in North Little Rock.
Anytime you have a doctor-patient relationship, it's a very unique relationship because you place all your trust in that doctor.
Garlapati did not return our attempts to reach him for comment. He is due back in court December 18th.
A former Mount St. Mary teacher terminated from her job after marrying her long-term partner, same-sex partner, finding a new job. I want to show you some video here in a second of a rally in support of Tippy McCullough. According to the Arkansas Times, McCullough will be working at Little Rock Central High School teaching pre-advanced placement English starting in January. McCullough was forced to resign from Mount St. Mary's, a Catholic school, for violating her contract's morality clause after the school learned about her marriage to Barbara Mariani, her partner of 14 years.
KRK is your local election headquarters, and today it looks like a vote on same-sex marriage could be headed to the 2016 ballot. This all comes as we wait to get word that Attorney General Dustin McDaniel certified the language on a same-sex marriage initiative, which now needs more than 70,000 signatures to get it on the ballot. Now, the initiative would repeal Amendment 83, which bans same-sex marriages in Arkansas. Meanwhile, in Saline County, the city of Benton having a few growing pains after growing more than 40% since 2000. Benton will be having a special election. Voters will either approve or reject 3 different issues. That issue 1 is either renewing the current 1.5-cent sales tax that funds city operation. Now, issue number 2 would be adding a half-cent sales tax to provide additional public safety infrastructure because it's growing so fast. And then issue 3 would be adding a half-cent sales tax to fund a major economic development project in Benton called Riverside Park. Now, the next day to vote is going to be on Tuesday, November 12th of 2013.
In tonight's special report, an unsettling, chilling disappearance still without answers for 13 years.
It was a very confusing. It didn't make a lot of sense.
In December 2000, 23-year-old Matthew Pendergrast, a Memphis college student, disappeared. His car, personal belongings, and later his clothes were all found in Lono County. But there is never any sign of Matthew. Tonight on KRK4 News at 10, insight from a psychic investigator and the reasoning as to why detectives hold out hope for answers as to what happened to Matthew Pendergrast. Tonight on KRK4 News at 10.
Construction crews wreaking havoc today on Main Street in downtown Little Rock. You want to get used to this. The 1 lane of traffic now, while all of the construction won't be sticking around for good. It is a preview of what's to come when all the work is done. The city of Little Rock says there will be lane reductions to increase safety. It's a welcome sight even now for some businesses in the area.
But it's only temporary, and we know it's for a good reason, to get bike lanes, support our walkable community, and hopefully make our neighborhood a little more green.
Crews officially began construction today on 18 blocks of Main Street from 7th to 25th. Crews will cut Main Street down to 1 lane in each direction with a center turn lane and bike lanes on each side.
Treasured photographs holding a look at what the city of Little Rock looked like way back when it was just beginning to stretch its arms. We're going to explore that today, only in Arkansas.
And after yesterday's cold front, abundant sunshine across Arkansas today. Didn't do a whole lot to boost those temperatures very much. 61 the high this afternoon here in the capital city. Our average high is 67, but that 61, it's going to feel tropical when you see the 7-day forecast. Details are straight ahead.
From the station that brings you local news that matters, this is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition. With Bob Clausen, Ashley Katz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Aaron Peters with your Razorback Nation report.